They say the world you know is just a costume, a thin veil over a much older, darker stage. We trust the faces on our screens and the laws in our books. But what if that trust is misplaced? What if reality's true architecture was shaped by unseen hands, guiding history from the shadows? These are not names you find on ballots or in headlines. They are the bloodlines that, legend says, never gave up control, silent partners, patrons of kings and presidents. Their power is not in armies, but in secrets. Not in currency, but in influence. From American industry to Vatican corridors, these families are the legends behind enduring conspiracy theories. Tonight, we open the Black Ledger, not to claim the truth, but to share the legends. Welcome to the shadows. In early America, one name became synonymous with ownership: the Astors. John Jacob Astor saw the true gold was land, transforming Manhattan into his chessboard. The Astors became New York's landlords, their power a quiet gravitational pull, an empire built piece by patient piece. Not all power is obvious. The Bundy bloodline is a chameleon, its influence woven through universities, boardrooms, and government corridors. Their myth is dual, statesmen shaping policy from the shadows, and a name forever marked by infamy. Are they guardians or saboteurs? The legend leaves only the unsettling image of a family whose influence is as pervasive as it is impossible to define. Before industrial fortunes, the Collins name drifted through colonial America like a phantom. Their legend is whispered in ghost stories, figures who walked between the settled world and the deep woods, intermediaries with forces colonists feared. The Collins clan became a ghostly presence in America's origin story, masters of mysterious, almost magical power. The DuPonts turned black powder into a global empire, their story a myth of modern alchemy. From gunpowder mills to innovations like nylon and Kevlar, they mastered the building blocks of the material world. The DuPonts became architects of the modern age, their influence as invisible and indispensable as the very polymers that hold it together. The Freeman bloodline is an enigma, patrons of uprisings, silent backers of revolution. Their power is inspiration, their influence revealed only in the outcomes of history's great turning points. The Freeman legend is a paradox, a powerful family whose legacy is dismantling power itself. The Kennedys, America's royalty, built their dynasty on charisma, ambition, and tragedy. For every triumph, a price was paid, their mythic status forever tied to repeated loss. Their story is a modern Greek tragedy, dazzling promise shadowed by fate. In the East, the Li bloodline flows through Chinese history, ancient, constant, enduring. From emperors to modern tycoons, the Li have survived dynasties, revolutions, and upheavals. Their power is not in conquest, but in persistence. A silent, enduring presence that outlasts empires. The Onassis legend is born from the sea, a refugee who built a maritime empire. Aristotle Onassis conquered the oceans, his ambition and tragedy echoing in every port. The Onassis myth reminds us, even those who command the tides cannot control their destiny. The Reynolds dynasty was built on tobacco, a quiet empire woven into 20th century culture. They sold freedom and independence, even as their product created dependence. The Reynolds legend is a gritty tale of American capitalism, as addictive and controversial as smoke itself. Rockefeller, a name spoken with iron and grandeur, the story of oil as the lifeblood of a new world. John D. Rockefeller imposed ruthless order on chaos, building a trust so powerful it could shape nations. Their legacy is a dual-sided coin, feared as monopolists, praised as benefactors, forever etched into the bedrock of modern society. The Rothschilds, mythic bankers whose story is the story of money itself. From a single coin dealer in Frankfurt, they became a financial nervous system, crossing borders and funding empires. Their power was not in armies, but in debt and credit, the invisible chains that bind the world. The Russell bloodline, architects of ideologies, founders of secret societies, gatekeepers of knowledge. Their power lies not on the battlefield, but in the library and the lodge, shaping who gains access to power. The Russells wrote the rules, training those destined to rule. The Van Doyne bloodline is a ghost story, immense influence deliberately erased from public record. Masters of secrecy, they vanished as scrutiny grew, folding their fortune into untraceable trusts. Their myth, the greatest power is the power to not exist at all. In Renaissance Italy, the Borgia name became synonymous with ambition, corruption, and power. The papacy became their kingdom, their legend marked by poison, intrigue, and treachery. The Borgia myth is a dark masterpiece, how one family hijacked the sacred and made it their own. The Breakspear name, an Englishman's rare ascent to the papacy as Adrian IV. His rise was strategic, opening doors for English and Germanic influence in Rome. The Breakspear legend is a subtle myth, an anomaly with ripples that lasted for centuries. In Milan, the Somaglia name is spoken with quiet dread. Part of the black nobility, masters of shadowy banking and control. Their influence is patient, rarely in the spotlight, but always present. The Somaglia myth, a family so entwined with Milan, their power is impossible to separate from the city itself. The Orsini, symbolized by the bear, ruled Rome with primal strength and territorial fury. For centuries they produced popes, cardinals, and soldiers, their power rooted in land and military might. The Orsini legend is one of brute force, a dynasty that saw rulers as temporary players. The Conti family's legacy is profound, centuries of influence over the papacy, producing popes and cardinals. They mastered the Vatican's inner workings, holding secrets and knowledge that gave them an edge. The Conti myth, quiet, strategic dominance, knowing which doors St. Peter's keys could truly unlock. The Chigi family, bankers turned guardians of knowledge, curators of the Vatican's secret archives. Their ambition was both intellectual and spiritual, their influence cemented by a Chigi pope. The Chigi legend, power wielded in silence, deciding what knowledge is preserved, hidden, or revealed. Where there was the Orsini bear, there was the Colonna pillar, eternal rivals. Their feud fueled Roman politics. The Colonna produced popes and cardinals, wielding power great enough to challenge the papacy. Their name stands as a testament to rivalry's creative and destructive force. The Farnese built their power in stone, soldiers of fortune who became master builders and popes. Their palaces and fortresses were statements of dominance, designed to be impregnable. The Farnese myth, a dynasty seeking permanence, encasing power in stone and steel. In Florence, the Medici became godfathers of the Renaissance, bankers who bought power and shaped culture. Their rule was absolute, enforced through art, intelligence, and ruthless pragmatism. The Medici legend, a masterclass in soft power, proving that whoever pays the artist controls the world. The Gaetani family, one of Italy's oldest, remained a constant, watchful presence through the ages. Their most famous member, Pope Boniface VIII, declared papal supremacy over kings. The Gaetani myth, the deep state of Italian aristocracy, a bloodline that has seen and survived all. The Pamphili rose to power in Baroque Rome, their symbol a dove, but their ascent was anything but peaceful. Olimpia Maidalcini, the formidable female pope, amassed a colossal fortune. Their story shows how quickly piety can turn to avarice when the keys to the kingdom fall into hungry hands. The Este family ruled Ferrara and Modena with art and ruthless calculation, masters of diplomacy, using beauty as shield and sword. The Este myth, Renaissance princes, commanding armies and imaginations. The Aldobrandini, ancient power, made one last decisive move, electing Pope Clement VIII. Their reign was cold, strategic, annexing lands, silencing dissent, securing their legacy with absolute authority. These are the families of the Black Ledger, names wrapped in rumor, stained by history, illuminated by myth. From bankers who funded kings to phantoms who vanished from records, we've journeyed through a landscape of conspiracy. Do they rule the world? No. Today's world is shaped by governments, corporations, and countless unseen forces. The idea of a few shadowy figures pulling all the strings is a simplification, a way to make sense of a world that feels overwhelming. But these legends endure, because people fear the unknown. When systems grow too vast to grasp, we paint faces onto the shadows. We tell these stories not because they are literally true, but because they feel true. And sometimes, those shadows stare back. Tonight we close the ledger, but the whispers will follow you into the dark.